Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with another 2 million credit guide to get you them credits on the new sport mode time trial event that has gone live on GT7. So it's at Interlagos, it's racing on sports hard tyres with the R34 Skyline. So to access this, you go into sport mode, into the sport mode time trial icon at the right hand side there, and you can either use your own car or a rented car. So you can select one from your own garage if you've got it, and if you haven't got that, you go into rented car and you can enter it that way. So we're going to go into the time trial guide now and give you some tips there. You can also use my lap as a ghost to chase. I've got it there, it's on the top 10, so it's currently available, and it will be available all the way through because I won't improve that lap now. So if you want to jump on, you can search for my name on that leaderboard and you can use it as a ghost. So starting this lap, let's go into the time trial guide and get you them 2 million credits as easily as possible. So looking out for our first braking reference, we're going to be looking out for the 100 board, which we're going to break slightly short of. So as we come over the start finishing line, looking up here, we can see the 100 board approaching. Now we can see we're on the brakes nice and early, a little bit before that 100 board there, to allow you the ability to slow the car down, get it into third gear and get that rotation into this curb. So you can see now we're going to try and rotate this car now into that curb on the left hand side. So you can see the trail braking start taking effect, where we're just trail braking off the brakes, and then as we feel that rotation, we're going to start putting a bit of throttle input in there, and now we're going to be rotating this car to cut this corner. You want to be able to cut quite a lot of this corner off on the right hand side. So as we come into this corner, we're going to upshift to fourth gear. You can see there just before we get to the curb, we're upshifting to fourth gear, and you can see the line where we cut over that curb, and then try and keep this power down as aggressively as possible all the way through this left hander. You might notice a few little lifts off the throttle there just to help with a bit of understeer that was kicking in, so you can get away with that. Now on the exit, you can normally stay flat out. You can use quite a lot of the curb on the outside. Left hand tyre needs to stay on that curb. If you go over it with the left hand tyre, you might pick up a penalty. So next braking zone, again we're going to use the 100, and this also little marking on the right hand side there. I use a 100 board to make sure I'm braking short, but you can also use that little bit of square tarmac there on the right hand side as a reference to get on the brakes. Now we're going to go down to third gear and try and get this car slowed down. Now what third gear will do, it will start rotating the car, and then you're going to start trail braking off the brakes, and then just before you get onto the throttle, you can see up to fourth gear, because what this is going to do, it's going to enable you to take a lot more speed and a more stable line through the corner. So up to fourth gear, if you get it right, your right hand tyre will just go onto that curb and you'll power out, and you won't have to do that shift to fourth gear then. It just enables you to catch up quite a lot. You can see, actually, I think I actually gain on the top time here by doing that. Now onto this corner, we're going to brake just after the 100 board and quite a long way short of the 50 board. You can see the braking inputs going in. Now again, we're going to start rotating this car in. We're in fourth gear, but we are going to go down to third gear. So you're going to see as we come through here, trail brake down to third gear, let that car rotate in. Now we're going to start using that throttle to try and correct that over rotation and to try and get the rotation going into the second part of the apex. Now we can see a bit of counter steer going in there to try and save that back end where it's trying to step out, and then as soon as we're onto the curb, we're getting onto the brakes. You can see onto the curb and we're onto the brakes, getting that car in a straight line down to second gear. And again, for this corner, you can take quite a lot off the corner. Look at the ghost in front of me, it takes a massive amount there. As long as your left hand tyre stays on that curb, you should get away without a penalty. Now I'm not going to take as much as he does off there. We just go over the curb and now powering our way into this left hand corner. Again, this corner, take quite a tight line. You want to get on the brakes pretty much instantly there. You can see brakes going in, and we're going to just let this car hug this curb on the inside and then upshift to third gear for a smoother exit. Now just be careful of the understeer. I nearly got caught out by this, you can see understeers, but again I just keep my left hand tyre on the curb, which avoids myself picking up a penalty and dirty tyres. Now for this braking, we're going to brake just on the AstroTurf. You can see the start of the AstroTurf, the green AstroTurf on the left hand side. We're using that as a reference, and we're now going to be turning into this right hand corner down to second gear. And again, you want to get your right hand tyre close to the curb and start putting that throttle inputs really early and aggressively. It will give you more momentum out of the corner, and then you're going to start turning in for this long left hand corner. Now you can see into this corner, I'm going to go up to fourth gear quite early just to smooth the car out a little bit and try and carry the momentum. And again, be very careful on this curb on the right hand side, because if you're powering and you hit that, the car can snap really easily. Now we're going to brake at the end. You can see the tarmac lines pretty much at the end there. Imagine a line there, and we're going to get on the brakes just just at the end of it. Now, I braked a fraction too late there, which is going to make it very difficult for me to hit the apex. You can see down to third gear, we're going to start putting that trail braking in to try and rotate this car because I knew I'd braked a tiny bit too late. And you can see we're going to slightly miss. You can see the leader's Corsair hits that apex nicely. I miss it slightly, which delays my throttle input by a fraction of a second and probably loses me a tenth to 2 tenths all the way on this straight. But yeah, if you can just get on that brake a little bit early in what I did there, you should be able to hook up that final corner a little bit better than what I did and get a slightly better lap time probably. So going down this straight, we're going to go over the line for a 1 minute 47.5, which is a pretty solid lap, I would say. Now, the current top time, I think, is a 47.1. That's probably going to go down to a 46.4 to 5. So, judging by that, I would say you're probably going to want to get, if you can get into the 48s on this time trial, it's going to be a benefit to you. However, a 49.1 or 2 or 3 should scrape through possibly. So, let's have a little watch of this lap anyway, at full speed, from the chase camera. You can really see how we're using the full width of the track. Now keep your eye on that left hand tyre, just keeping it on the curb, not going over the curb. If we do, we pick up a penalty. We kept it on. Now this corner, this was where we really nailed this corner. You see braking down to third gear, then that back up to fourth gear shift just as the car starts rotating enables us to get on the throttle maximum, and we're really aggressively out of that corner and carrying a lot of momentum all the way up this hill. Now again, you can see just after the 100 board, we're going to get on that brake and start rotating it into the corner, down to third gear. Then you can see putting a bit of power in to try and get that rotation through the corner. You can see I had to correct a bit of oversteer there, possibly lost a fraction of a second, but not too much there as we cut this right hand corner. You can see not as much as what the top time did. I just used the curb. The top time went all the way over there. Now again, this is where you need to be cautious. You can see my left hand tyre just staying on the curb, which avoids the dirty tyres, and then right hand tyre onto the curb again for this right hand corner. Again, early on the throttle, be careful the rear doesn't snap on you there. It can happen. And again, this corner, really be careful that your right hand rear tyre doesn't get onto that curb as you're turning and powering out of it, because you can easily spin the car by doing that. Again, you can see only missed the apex by about a foot or so, but that is enough to stop you getting on the power that little bit earlier, which avoids, obviously you're going to not get the momentum all the way up this hill. So could have improved it a little bit on that final corner, but overall pretty happy with this lap because these are not my favourite cars, and hopefully this guide will help you out. If it does help you out, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments what lap you got, and I'll see you for more of these guides in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.